In this video, we are going to create and run our first Python program. We'll start off by opening PyCharm, which I created a shortcut on my desktop for. When this window appears, check this box to accept the JetBrains privacy policy, then click Continue. After that, you should be taken to this window which prompts you to create a new project. On your desktop, create a new folder to hold your Python projects and call it Python_projects. Then, click Create New Project. I will call the project Examples since I will be using the same project later on in the course for other Python examples, but you can give your project whatever name you want. We will be saving the project on the desktop in the Python_projects folder. You shouldn't have to do anything with the project interpreter, since if you installed Python correctly, the correct one will be chosen by default. Now click Create. I'm going to get rid of this tip of the day window. Now let's create a new Python file. First, make sure that your project is selected by clicking on it. Then, click File, New, then Python File. I'm going to call the file Lecture Material since it will be used in future lectures, but you can give your file whatever name you desire. Now that we have a Python file open, we can start writing code in this window, which is called the editor window. I'm going to move this to the side so that we can focus more on the code we write. In our file, we are going to create a very simple one-line program called a Hello World program. To create the program, just type print hello world exactly as I have. What this program will do is it will display the words hello world in the output when we run our program. Notice that to the right, there is a bar that appears which indicates an error. You can hover your mouse over it to find out what the error is. In this case, the problem is that because we do not have a blank line at the end of our program, our code does not follow the conventions of the Python Style Guide PEP8, which you can find on the python.org website. Now let's run the code that we just wrote. Click Run, then click Run again, then select your Python file. PyCharm will then run your code, and the output of your code, the phrase Hello World, will be displayed here. As long as you got Hello World and the message process finished with exit code 0 to appear in the output, then you did everything correctly. The process finished with exit code 0 message is not a part of the output of our code and is just additional information, which means that there is nothing wrong with our code and everything worked okay. Let's talk about what happens when there is something wrong with your code and you try to run it. Once you have the output window open, you can run your program again by clicking on this arrow. Programs will crash if they contain code that is not syntactically correct Python code. When this happens, the output will display an error message and the phrase process finished with exit code 1 An error message is not something to be afraid of and will not damage your computer. It just means that your program stopped running unexpectedly and you will need to make changes to your code in order for it to run correctly. Congratulations! By writing your first program, you've completed